Good evening, basketball fans, and welcome to LaVille High School at the Gymnasium for tonight's boys varsity contest between the Culver Military Academy Eagles and your LaVille Lancers. Now let's meet the starting lineups, beginning with CMA. Starting at one guard, 6'1" junior, number 12, Ignace Acelanes. Starting at second guard, 5'9" senior, number 21, Sam Kincannon. Starting at third guard, 6' sophomore, number 23, Dylan Powell. Starting one forward, 6'2" junior, number 30, Jake Young. Starting the other forward, 6'4" junior, number 44, Jamario Rule. CMA is coached by Mark Galloway. Number 44, Mason Page. Starting one forward, 6'4" senior, number 35, Jason Breeden. Starting the other forward, 6'3" sophomore, number 41, Dalton Dove. This is coached by Michael Edison.
On behalf of Dennis Fights, Ethan Sandoval, and our statistician tonight, Mandy Ross, I'm Matt Florian. So pleased to have you with us. Had a couple of audio issues just a few minutes ago, but we are back, we are live, and we are so happy to be here at Dale Cox Gymnasium. It's a Lancer basketball night tonight. The LaVille Lancers take on the Eagles of Culver Military Academy in what will surely be an exceptional game this Tuesday night. We had a pregame interview with Coach Edison. We will get to bits and pieces of it now that I know my audio is working. Very pleased to have you with us. Culver will be in maroon and white numbers. The Lancers, as always, are dressed in white with blue numbers on your screens on LVH1. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a basketball night here at LaVille. And the Eagles have won the opening toss.
The pregame ceremony that you saw with Mr. Edison, he was getting rewarded for claiming his 100th win as the LaVille basketball coach. He won Friday night, I believe, against Culver in Dale Cox Gymnasium, giving him his 100th win, and they present him with a brilliant plaque today. Very good job by Mr. Edison, and many more wins to come.
Coach Edison here at LaVille is now in his 8th year at the school. He has officially now 101 wins. His 100th win came against Culver Community on the 29th. His 101st came at West Noble, this being the first home game since then. The Lancers wanted to celebrate. Timeout immediately taken by Coach Edison. Didn't like how his Lancers came out of the starting gates, immediately giving up a three-point shot.
To Malonius. He made that very nice shot that was uncontested, and Coach Edison was fiery when he called that timeout. I hope he figured things out very fast. 30 seconds into a game isn't when you want to show you're having some problems.
Isaac Aish out to Stanky. To Dove. Culver head coach Mark Galloway calling for more pressure, more pressure. He knows what kind of three-point shooters are on this LaVille team. Stanky thought about a three-point shot. It's taking a deep jumper off the mark. A little bit too much power. Jake Young for the Eagles takes it the other way.
Culver's running a very fast-paced offense as it looks like Beeler is going to be challenged here.
Masalinas calling for it. trying to get the rebound in and out of the hands of several Lancer defenders. Three-point shot coming, in and out. Rebound collected by Beeler. That was Dylan Powell off the mark on his three-point attempt. Stanky now getting stacked up by Jake Young. Over to Aish, three-point shot on the way, short. Aish tried to get his rebound. Dylan Powell for the Eagles coming the other way.
Very fast-paced game by both teams. Both teams' coaches are instructing on what to do currently. I think Coach Edison might want to slow down the pace when they get the ball back.
Sam Concannon with control of the ball for the Eagles. Underneath to Jamario Rule. Gets it out to Ignas Mussolinas. Off the mark on his three-point attempt. Well defended by Jason Breeden. Underneath to Rule and fouled. That'll be Dalton Dove picking up his first, team's first. 5 minutes, 31 seconds left in the first quarter. The Lancers trail 3-0. And that'll be Jamario Rule at the line for the Eagle 2-point attempt.
Riley Cox will enter for the Lancers.
Substitution for LaVille, number 40, Riley Cox.
Who gives Dove a rest after that foul early. Jersey night for the student section. LaVille making sounds and distracting. Rule goes over 2 at that trip to the line. Rebound by Breeden, finally moving up the floor with the Lancers. Breeden with the ball over to Stanky. Dribbling, trying to find an open man. LaVille having trouble with penetration against the strong Culver defense of the Eagles. Breeden gets his rebound, though, off the mark. Second chance points are hard to come by. Nobody can put it in. That first Malonius shot made, being the 3-0 lead for the Eagles. 3 minutes have gone in the game. And a foul on Cox. His first.
If I'm understanding my dashboard here on my computer correctly, we're also experiencing some video issues. If you are getting some delays, we do apologize. We are still on the air, and we will have this streamed up and in is Isaac Aish. The first 2 points of the game off the hands of the 6-foot senior. Isaac Aish cuts into the Eagle lead. 2-3 is the Lancer deficit. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Rule over. 3-point shot off the mark.
Both teams are struggling shooting 3-point shots currently.
Ignas Mussolinas off the mark from his 3-point shot. Coach Edison, in his pregame interview and his pregame comments to me, he said that Mussolinas for the Eagles is probably the best player that the Lancers will face all year. Exceptional 6'1" junior transplant from Europe. Stinky at the line. First shot falls. Tie game. 4 minutes, 15 seconds left.
Culver had a very small fan section come with them from the academy, but they are making some noise when things happen. But it has been a very calm game other than a lot of missed shots for both teams up to this point. Driving the ball right now for Culver and holding it is Powell, getting it over to Young, or my bad, Concannon over to Powell, back to Concannon. Culver trying to break the LaVille defense, who is playing very strong at the moment.
Concannon over to Powell. Underneath, that'll be to Jake Young. Well defended by Cox. Up, can't get it to fall. Cox with the exceptional defense. The other way to Breeden. Up and in. Isaac Aish with the fist pump, and that'll be Eagles coach Galloway with a timeout. Doesn't like what he's seeing. The Lancers on a 6-0 run. 3 minutes, 34 seconds left. We'll be right back after this. You're listening to LVH1, the voice of the Lancers. Welcome back to Dale Cox Gymnasium. It's a varsity basketball night here at LaVille. The Lancers are hosting the Eagles of Culver Military. Culver with control of the ball. They trail 3-6 after a 6-0 run by the Lancers in the last 2 minutes. Alongside my colorman Dennis Fights, Ethan Sandoval, and Mandy Ross are handling stats for us. Welcome to Dale Cox Gymnasium. It's a Tuesday night varsity men's matchup.
Stanky playing excellent defense. LaVille losing track, though.
Powell nearly had a good look at a two-point shot, undefended. Tries a pass underneath to Jamario Rule, and Rule loses it out of bounds. Addison Allen coming in for the Eagles, and Anderson also in for Culver Military. Cox with the inbound to Stanky. Stanky taking it deliberately. As you said, Dennis, Coach Edison slowing the pace down. Breeden well defended by Britton Williams.
Double dribble called on the Lancers. That'll be LaVille's third turnover of the game so far. LaVille has been playing excellent defense in the paint, allowing Culver no points underneath, only the three-point basket made.
I misspoke earlier. That was number 13, Ethan Britton Watts. Now on the floor for Culver. Culver is in maroon with white letters and numbers. Lancers in white with blue numbers and letters. Culver brings in a 10-5 record. Lancers on a bit of a hot streak. They are 12-6. They have, and I'm double checking this, they have 5 regular season games left on their schedule. Foul committed by the Lancers, and at the line will be number 44, Jamario Rule. The basket counts. He's going to the line for a three-point play. Luke Beeler's first foul, third foul of the night on the Lancers.
Beeler and Breeden go to the bench as DeClark and Dove re-enter for the Lancers. Kind of a bonehead play there by Beeler, though, grabbing him as he was making an easy layup. Off the mark, though, is Rule 0 for 3 from the free throw line.
Cox up court, back to Stanky. Well defended by Anderson. Foul committed. That'll be Anderson's first. Team's second. It's a passionate but small group of students here. It's a Tuesday night basketball game this week. Stanky with control of the ball, weaving in and out, up and over. Gets a rebound, assist from Dalton Dove. Pushed out again. Not enough Lancers there to collect the rebound. It falls into the hands of Leonis. I'll get his name right before the end of the game. Eventually gets it over to the hands of Britton Watts.
LaVille wanting to make sure they're playing excellent defense against the Eagles. Gets it back a little too early to collect that rebound, like you said, Mr. Florian.
Britton Watts, well defended by Stanky, staring him down on the near side. Eagles have cut the lead to 1. Up, can't get it, does get it to fall on the second bounce. That's Britton Watts taking the lead again for the Eagles. Stanky over to Aish, well defended by Addison Allen. Very athletic and energetic Eagles team. Dalton Dove can't handle the pass, out of bounds, last touch by the Lancers. To the bench goes Adam Stanky and Isaac Aish. Breeden and DeClark in for the Lancers.
Coach Edison subbing in and out a lot, which is very uncharacteristic of him. Usually he leaves players in for good 3 or 4 minutes at a time. He's had 3 substitutions in the last 4 minutes.
Masalanis. Beautiful jumper, too. And the lead is back to 3 for Culver. Ian Anderson picks up his second foul there. That's the third foul for the Eagles. 38 seconds left in the first quarter. The Eagles also have the lead, 9-6 over the Lancers. Rebounds and one-on-one assignments were very important to Coach Edison in preparation for this game. And early in, we see a lot of the athleticism of this Culver team.
LaVille looks to take the last shot with 20 seconds remaining before the first quarter ends.
DeClark, well defended, gets it out to Beeler. Beeler's got 12 seconds to make something happen. Double move against Anderson, gets it over to Cox, well defended. Up, can't get it to fall, and off the mark again. Jason Breeden with the desperation airball shot at the end of one quarter. Eagles 9, the Lancers 6. You're listening to LVH1, the voice of the Lancers. A shout out, as always, to Mr. and Mrs. Nick Lido, the band director, and his wonderful wife, who have done a fantastic job with the program this year. They have kept the energy of Dale Cox Gymnasium pegged at 11, as we used to say where I came from. On behalf of Dennis Feitz, Ethan Sandoval, Mandy Ross, I'm Matt Florian. Very happy you're with us. The Lancers have a 6-9 deficit going into the second quarter of this game. They trail the Eagles of Culver Military by 3 points. Dennis, it's been a back and forth kind of game.
Yes, it has.
All over the place in terms of tempo and speed. Here's DeClark.
Out of bounds was DeClark on the floor. 5th turnover for the Lancers, but one really big thing for scoring. Culver started out on a 3-0 run. LaVille had a 6-0 run. Culver ended the quarter on a 6-0 run, leaving it at 9-6. So Culver has all the momentum at this current moment. Culver trying to make it work and get some more travel. Britton Watts with almost a very impressive basket there, Mr. Florian.
Couldn't keep 2 feet on the ground before he took it. So it'll be DeClark, or check that, Beeler, driving hard against Jake Young. Lots of tall, athletic players on this Eagle team, staring down the Lancers. Up and off the glass. That's Jason Breeden. Cuts the lead to 1 for the Eagles. 9-8 is their lead with 7 minutes, 13 seconds left in the first half of this game.
LaVille looking a little more solid on the one-on-one assignments currently. Hello, this is Dennis Fights. I am here with your stats for the first half of a great Culver Military Academy versus LaVille Lancers game. The Eagles' stats for the first half are in my hand at the current moment. You have 4 players scoring. Addison Allen with 3 points. Ethan Britton Watts with 5 points. Jamari Rule with 6 points. And Ignis Mesalanis with 8 points. Very good job by their team, tied at 22-22. And for the Lancers, we have Isaac Aish with 2 points, Dalton Dove with 2 points, Justin DeClark with 3 points, Jason Breeden with 7 points, and our leading Lancer scorer of the first half is Adam Stanky with 8 points, doing a great job so far. LaVille has been very exciting to watch, but I am going to give a brief shout out to a great man in our community who passed away on Sunday. Mr. Philip H. Gretter was a great man. He was 72 years old. He read at the elementary school for 16 years. He touched most of the Lancers in the gymnasium. A lot of students I've seen and players have been sharing his obituary and other things about him. He gave away over 400,000 mints when he was reading to kids and always smiling. Just a fantastic man and a great guy. The reason you might not be seeing as many Lancer fans here tonight is he is having his service tonight at Plymouth Wesleyan Church. So, a very great honor for him. Sorry we have a basketball game, and we wish him the best in what's after to come, and his family well wishes. Just very hard to lose somebody like that in the community. Being involved with our elementary school for 16 years and just doing a great job. But I thought I'd recognize him as LaVille comes out and the band plays the fight song. Culver came out with about 2:30 remaining, so I was just reading that and going through the motions. Mr. Florian's back with a word or two, I believe.
You know, it's tough coming late. I say, late to the LaVille show. Obviously, here for the first time in the building, first time at LaVille Junior Senior High School this year as a teacher, and just hearing about the fantastic people here in the LaVille community, the Lakeville, La Paz community, like Mr. Phil. It's a credit to the elementary school. It's a credit to that man that so many people will remember him, not just as the adults that knew him, that were his colleagues and friends, but also the young students at the elementary school for generations that were a part of his tradition here at LaVille. He will be greatly missed.
But very good basketball played in the first quarter. One key that I really saw was turnovers. Both teams had 12 turnovers in the first half. Rebounding was very even. But second chance points, both teams could not capitalize on second chances underneath. The one player who was very dominant underneath, though, was Jamari Rule. He had 6 points from 3 layups underneath. And if he could have capitalized on some second chance opportunities, he could probably have 12 or 14 points easily. As we get prepared for the second half, should be a fun second half. Very low scoring, though, in the first half. What is your prediction for the second half in scoring-wise?
Well, when I talked to Coach Edison before the game tonight, I mentioned that Culver historically averages about 20 points in the first quarter, or first half, I should say, throughout this game. In the second half, they go on a bit of a streak. They average 33 points. And I asked him how he was going to work on that with his Lancers, and he said containment, rebounding. A couple of three-point attempts to get things going for the Eagles in the second half. Kincannon, number 21, eventually does find pay dirt.
My apologies. I believe that was Anderson who found pay dirt. Or no, you're right. My apologies.
Jake Young, number 30 for the Eagles, will commit his first foul, first of the half for the Eagles. Stanky, three-point shot on the way, off the mark, rebound, fought for by Breeden and Rule. Coming the other way is the Eagles. That's Jake Young. Layup and a 5-point lead once again built up by the Eagles of Culver Military.
Very fast 5-0 run by the Eagles in the first 30 seconds of the third quarter.
And another foul committed.
That's on Young, and that was a hard foul.
A little bit of a discussion there by the officials. White ball is the call. Number 30, Jake Young, picks up his second. Hard foul, offensive foul committed. A defensive foul committed by the Eagles. They are all over the Lancers. Aish thought about a three-point shot. Hasn't quite found his groove from beyond the arc tonight. Breeden gets it over to Steinke. Back to Aish, to Steinke, to Beeler. Ball movement around the outside arc. Up, can't get it to fall. Booted out, and sprinting the other way is Dylan Powell. Up and in. 29 to 22 is the lead for the Eagles. Isaac Aish looking for his first three-point bucket. Still looking. 0 for 4 now from beyond the arc. Three-point shot on the way. Maciolinas.
10-0 run for Culver to open up this third quarter. It would be wise of Coach Edison to group his team up by calling a timeout here, having 4 remaining. Very fast-paced Culver team scoring 10 points in the first minute 45 of the second half.
Stanky looking to drive. Jake Young well defending him. Gets it over to Dove. To Breeden. Stanky looking for help. Isaac Aish. Defensive steal coming the other way. Up and in. And that's Sam Kincannon. And now both Coach Edison's on their feet. Timeout called. A very calm looking Coach Edison, but he's got the look of fire in his eyes. It will be a 30-second timeout. He wants to talk things over with his Lancers. They are on the bad end of a 12-0 run to get the first 3 minutes of this third quarter going. Dennis, I mean, you can't allow Culver to make the steals. You can't allow Culver to make the fast breakaway points.
No, that's 3 Lancer turnovers there. 12-point run by Culver. Excellent play by Culver in those 2.5 minutes. I can't say anything negative. They did everything right, and LaVille was having all types of problems.
Coach Edison, as soon as that 12th point went in for Culver, he was looking for an opportunity to try and get a timeout. Isaac Aish gets it over to Breeden, well defended by Rule. Rebound collected by the Eagles, and now they are slowing things down simply because they are all over the Lancers early, and that is a charge taken by Breeden.
Concannon's first foul. He looked a little shocked that he was called against that. 3 fouls, though, against Culver in the first 3 minutes, though, even though they do have that 12-0 run going for them.
5 minutes, 12 seconds left in the third quarter. Beeler driving up court. Lancers looking for their first points of the third quarter. And get him. Adam Stanky off the glass. Hard fought against Eagles defenders. Kincannon defended by Breeden. He's been sensational this second half for Culver Military Academy. Rule over to Maciolinas. 3-point shot. 23-footer.
He has made.
He's making it look easy.
Well, he's made 4 3-point shots, and that was a beautiful shot. Just the stroke is pure and nothing but net, to say the least.
Stanky in the far corner. Defense for the Eagles has really woken up in the last few minutes. Foul on the reach end. That'll be number 44, Jamario Rule. That will be his team's fourth. Non-shooting foul for the Eagles. Isaac Aish on the near sideline to inbound it for the Lancers. Gets it to Cox. Over to Stanky. And fires it up. Jake Young was all over Stanky.
Stanky currently is the Lancer offense, though.
The call from the Lancer faithful in the near grandstand is for let's go defense. They certainly could use some. Down 26 now to 39. 13-point lead for the Eagles in this second half of the ball game. Breeden to Cox. Driving. Gets it over to Stinky. Thought about a drive down the lane.
To Clark Denner for the Lancers and Allen Denner for Culver.
Stanky with the foul committed. Turnover, and that'll be
his first.
His first, and Eagle basketball.
Stanky, substitution for senior number 33, Addison Allen. For the Lancers, number 12, Justin DeClark, and number
DeClark
Jacob Williams.
and Williams will enter for the Lancers.
Stanky and Dub will take a little rest.
Steal and a jump ball. Possession arrow towards the Lancers. Isaac Aish will take the inbound. Gets it out to Williams. Williams to DeClark, well defended by the Eagles. Breeden gets his own rebound. Can't collect it a second time, and it's Culver basketball. Addison Allen kicks it back to Sam Kincannon. To Rule. Masiolinas thought about a drive, kicks it out. 3-point shot. Addison Allen. And that three-point shooting has been absolutely dynamic for the Eagles in this second half.
Yes, it has.
Isaac Aish airballs it badly. He's still looking for his first three-point shot of the half. Dylan Powell couldn't get an easy but fast layup. Aish with the rebound. And the Lancers looking for an offensive groove in this second half. Isaac Aish thought about a three-point shot. Kicks it over, gets it to DeClark. Can't get it to fall. Rebound not there for the Lancers. Falls in the hands of Jamario Rule. Eventually gets it to Sam Kincannon.
All 4 points of the second half for the Lancers have been made by Adam Stanky, as Jacob Good and Dalton Dove look to enter for the Lancers, and a turnover by Culver.
Breeden driving hard, looking for help, gets it to Cox. Cox well defended by Masalinas. Miscommunication, two Lancers try and paw for it, and here coming the other way, Kincannon settling things down. Out to Powell. To Kincannon once again, underneath the Rule, undefended, and in and out. Can't get it to fall. Lancers got very lucky with 1:15 left in the third quarter. 26-42 is the deficit for LaVille. Foul committed. Sam Kincannon will pick up his second, team's fifth.
Number 21, Sam Kincannon.
Sub coming in for Culver. Number 13, Ethan Britton Watts, and Ian Anderson, number 2, in for the Eagles.
For the Lancers, number 23, Jacob Good.
Stanky
Jacob Good in the lineup now for the Lancers. And also in again is Adam Stanky. Stanky with a three-point attempt, short. Surrounded. And fouled eventually. That'll be Addison Allen. Foul goes on Jacob Williams, number 22 for the Lancers, his first, team second. Under a minute left in the third quarter. 8 minutes which have been dominated by the Eagles of Culver Military Academy.
Yes, they have.
Underneath, swatted away by Stanky, making his presence felt. DeClark gets it stolen away from him. Rebound.
Foul called on to Clark there.
A lot of disagreement from Coach Edison and from the student section. How can a player with control of the ball can't get his hands down for a can't get his down, and he's being warned away by the officials, mimicking what's going on, what he felt should have been the call against DeClark. Drive hard, rebound collected by Dove. Stanky the other way, 14 seconds left. Stanky, DeClark had it underneath, kicks it out, well defended. Dalton Dove, a foul committed. And with 4.8 seconds left, it'll be a shooting foul. Non-shooting foul against Ethan Britton Watts, his second, team's sixth. Riley Cox into the game.
LaVille will be in the 1-1 the rest of the game.
4 seconds. Stanky, three-point shot coming. Rattles in and gets it. Cleaned up by Jacob Good.
6 points scored by LaVille in the third quarter. Very dismal, to say the least. Big basket made for momentum possibly, but Culver scoring 20 points against LaVille's 6. Very hard to come back from. If you're Coach Edison, what are you saying in the huddle going into this fourth quarter in just a moment? Because I don't know what Coach Galloway can really say. He's probably very pleased with his players.
I think if you're Coach Galloway, on the one hand, there's a lot that could be cleaned up, a lot of fouls that could be cleaned up for that Eagles team on their bench. On the Lancer side, I think Coach Edison is saying rebounds, rebounds, rebounds with a dash of rebounds and missed second chances. He mentioned in the pregame interview a lot of the issues would be with manning up with the assignments on blocks and making good decisions on the defensive and offensive side of the ball. Right now, the Lancers are still looking for the whole package in terms of a game plan right now. 6 points in one quarter. It's going to be a 14-point hole that the Lancers need to dig out of against a Culver Military team that has been absolutely electric for the first 8 minutes of this second half.
Well, Culver's also making shots from everywhere is another problem that LaVille can't really control. Culver's made 11 two-point shots and 7 threes. And it's been made by multiple players, not just one player controlling the game.
Turnover straight into the hands of Dalton Dove. Up, Stanky can't get it to fall. Breeden, and one! Bucket counts, foul coming. That'll be, I believe, against Jamario Rule.
Basket is good.
Nope, that'll be against Masalinas. His second, team's seventh. Jason Breeden at the line to attempt the three-point play. Rims it in and out. 30 to 42 is the deficit for the Lancers. They trail by 12 after a sensational third quarter put on by the Eagles of Culver Military Academy.
One more.
Riley Cox all over Sam Kincannon. That's one of the things I notice about this travel committed by Rule. One of the things I was going to say, Dennis, that I noticed in the third quarter is that the Eagles have been all over, just sprinting to wherever the ball is. It's almost a modified man zone.
Yes, it is.
Just keeping as much defensive pressure on the Lancers individually as close as possible. Stanky looking to drive, looking for help now. Kicks it out. Three-point shot on the way. Can't get it. Rebound collected. Foul committed. Jason Breeden Thought it should have been out of bounds. But that will be Breeden's first foul, pardon me. The fourth on the Lancers.
One thing I must mention, though, about Culver, you said they were in foul trouble, which they are, having 7 fouls in the second half, but no player has more than 2 fouls, but 6 players do have 2 fouls at the current moment, being Massalanis, Britton Watts, Concannon, Young, Rule, and Anderson.
Breeden picks up his second foul of the game almost immediately. Timeout on the floor. That'll be the Eagles head coach, Mark Galloway, wanting to talk things over. It will be a 30-second timeout. 6 minutes, 46 seconds left in the game. The score is 42-30 in favor of Culver Military.
Very dominant Culver team right now. Turnover battle has been even, though. Both teams have committed 20 turnovers. Kind of a sloppy game, but the rebounding has been Culver's way. The score's gone Culver's way. Culver has dominated the game, other than that one statistic.
A lot of work to do on this Lancer sideline. They trail by 12.
And Culver will inbound the ball.
Concannon, who has been absolutely sensational this second half for the Eagles, gets it out to Dylan Powell. Powell well defended by Jacob Good. Over to Massalanis. Back to Concannon. Defended by Cox. And a foul committed, they say, by Cox. Coach Edison can't believe it. And I'll tell you what, Coach Steve Cox, our public address announcer, usually so very calm and professional during these games. Even he had a couple of...
Well, the foul...
No, the foul is called on... Well, we're not sure. We're going to sort things out here real quick. The initial call was against Riley Cox, it appeared, and everyone on the Lancer sideline, and as I was saying, Coach Steve Cox, our public address announcer, was having a hard time believing it as well. The officials have huddled together, and it will be a 1-and-1 shooting situation for Riley Cox. The foul will go against Sam Concannon for the Eagles, his third, team's 8th. 6 minutes, 31 seconds left. 1-and-1 shot coming. On the way, in and out, rebound collected by Breeden, put back up and in. Cleaning it up, and Riley Cox saying, all right, I'm going to get right back on defense. Doing a fantastic job. Whoa, and nearly blocked out by a teammate. That was Jacob Good putting a hand in the middle of the chest of Riley Cox. That's got to be a mistake. Obviously just getting into the groove defensively. They eventually settled down. Lancers with the bucket, with the basket, pardon me. Jason Breeden driving, rims it. Rebound collected by Dove. Underneath again to Breeden. Slapped away by Rule. And coming the other way is Dylan Powell. Up. Slapped away by Stanky. And coming the other way, he wants to go all the way down, and a foul committed.
Massalanis is third.
Number 12 for the Eagles commits his third, and that is the 9th team foul for the Culver Military Academies this half.
5:42 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Adams' first shot up and in. He gets a second one coming. Aish will sub in for Good.
LaVille trails by single digits for the first time since midway through the third quarter.
The lead is cut to 8 for the Eagles. Defense is going to be the key to the game here in the last 5 minutes, 35 seconds. Massalanis near side gets it over to Powell. Kicks it out to Britton Watts. Rule looking for a shot underneath. In and out. Rebound collected by Cox. Alongside Dennis Feitz, Ethan Sandoval, and Mandy Ross. I'm Matthew Florian for LVH1. Very happy you're with us. Foul committed by the Eagles, and that'll be number 13, Ethan Britton Watts, his third, team's 10th. And Dennis, you said just a few minutes ago, only a few fouls here, one foul there, two foul there's, and suddenly it's 3. A whole lot of players for the Eagles have picked up fouls in the last few minutes. Stanky's first shot falls. The lead is cut to 7 for the Eagles.
Stanky is 5 for 5 from the line, but sloppy defense by Culver Academy is going to let LaVille get back in this game, it appears.
Stanky, 6 for 6 and still perfect. They will need him to keep this perfection up if the Lancers want to come back. 5 minutes left in the game. Riley Cox diving for it. Masalinas gets it over to Addison Allen. Allen well defended by Dove, swatted away, and that'll be against Dove.
It appears to be that way.
Foul number 41, Dalton Dove.
That'll be Dalton's second, team's 6th.
Number 21.
Sub coming in, Sam Concannon will be back on the floor for the Eagles.
Culver's coach is really keeping the players fresh, to say the least. Subbing them in and out whenever they're showing any tiredness.
Britton Watts can't leave him alone. And now Masalinas calling for it underneath, guarded by Stanky. They will not let him get the shot in the paint if they can help it. Here's a deep 3 shot, straight up and in. You really can't leave any of these Culver military players alone outside the 3-point line for too long. They will take a shot if they think it's good. And so far from beyond the 3-point arc, these shots have been nothing but good.
Yes.
For the Eagles.
They're shooting around 70% from the 3-point line, which is excellent to say the least.
High pass, really swatted away. And a foul committed. Addison Allen will pick up the foul for Culver. 2 shots coming against Adam Stanky. Addison Allen picks up his first, team's, well, it doesn't matter at this point. It's double bonus from here on out. Stanky still perfect. He really has been the offense for the Lancers.
Yes, he has. Him and Jason Breeden have made the most baskets for the Lancers. Anybody else who's made a basket's only made one single one, contributing to the Lancer scoring.
Rattles in and out. Jason Breeden can't get the rebound before Jake Young collects it for Culver. Culver has an 8-point lead, looking to add to it. Pass over, and now settling down to Sam Concannon underneath to Britton Watts. Kicks it back out to Concannon, calling for a play, looking for help underneath. He's got Addison Allen undefended. Sam Concannon gets it the other way. Adam Stanky now looking to answer on the other end. It's a 10-point deficit once again for the Lancers.
This man defense for LaVille has been struggling at certain moments, and at certain moments they're looking excellent. It's very wishy-washy, to say the least.
Masalinas in the
taunting, gets teed up.
And I don't blame him. They had been skating on the edge for just a few minutes, and Masalinas will be teed up. Taunting is the call. I say they had been skating on the edge. Concannon, after his last pass in and up, put a finger in the air. Not an inappropriate finger, but just, we're number one, fist pump kind of finger.
I think he was saying in your eyes or something, it looked like, from my viewpoint. But, still very disrespectful, to say the least. As Stanky goes to the line shooting 2.
So that'll be Masalinas done for the day. Or I'm sorry, no, that'll be his 4th foul. So he will sit. 3 minutes, 17 seconds left.
I don't know if you're the coach of Massillonus if you put him back in after that just blatant disrespect of the other team to say anything.
3 minutes, 17 seconds left. The Lancers have an 11-point deficit, but they do have the bucket back after a Massillonus technical for taunting here at Dale Cox Gymnasium. Isaac Aish. And a foul committed by the Lancers.
Apparently it's on Breeden as Adam Stanky is just yelling at the senior.
Foul number 35, Jason Breeden.
Couple of words being exchanged on both sides by players and by coaches. I think the coaches are saying to the players, settle down. The players are saying to each other, get off my case.
Well, I think the players are trying to make smarter plays and influence each other in positive ways, but just not working at the moment.
Travel committed. That'll be number 23, Dylan Powell, turning it over.
23rd Culver turnover. LaVille has 25 in the game.
A stat that both coaches would love to try and clean up. Isaac Aish out to Breeden. To Stanky, and a foul committed. Jake Young will send Stanky to the line. He really has been
Foul number 23, Dylan Powell.
absolutely electric.
Coach Edison talking with all four players other than Adam Stanky, knowing he's going to the line shooting two, trying to get his team back without calling a timeout here. Stanky will probably have two teammates standing in for a second free throw attempt.
First shot up and in. And they do indeed set up for rebound. Isaac Aish gives him a big bear hug, no doubt passing along instructions from Coach Edison. Lancers trail by 10, 40-50 is the score in favor of the Eagles of Culver Military. That's the first missed shot.
Second missed free throw.
Missed free throw for Adam Stanky this game. 2 minutes, 42 seconds left in the game. Lancers trail by 10.
He's made 10 for 12, though, being excellent from the free throw line. Having some problems on the other side.
Britton Watts with control, and now a three-point attempt. Rattles in and out. Rebound collected by Addison Allen. Up, and a two-point shot coming.
Fourth foul against Jason Breeden. Trying to play solid defense and just moving a little bit into the player. DeClark looks to enter for Breeden, picking up his fourth foul there. LaVille's just having some trouble this whole second half.
Substitution for the Lancers, number 12, Justin DeClark.
First shot falls, second shot rattles and rims in and out. Lancers trail by 11. They've got to dig deep on offense and not commit turnovers like that one. And loses it out of bounds.
He shows good sportsmanship helping him up, but very hard trying Culver team to save that ball there.
Sam Concannon did all but dive into the first row of stands. And I should say the fine head coach of the LaVille football team and our athletic director, Coach Will Ostrauser.
Tried to brace him a little bit.
A little bit. Didn't want him to go face first into the grandstands on that far side.
I don't blame him. That would not feel good at all.
A little bit of housekeeping work being done by both teams there. Aish will have the inbound. 40-51 is the score in favor of Culver Military. 2 minutes left in this game. Aish, three-point shot in. Timeout on the floor. That'll be a full timeout for the Lancers. 2 minutes and 2 seconds left. The score is 51-43 in favor of Culver Military. The Lancers have a long way to go to try and catch up, but it is a fourth quarter that's been back and forth.
Yes.
After a third quarter that was absolutely dominated by the Eagles.
A giant blowout in the third to lead to an exciting fourth, to say the least. Culver led by 14 at the end of 3 and now only leads by 8. And LaVille seems to be gathering momentum with 2 minutes and 2 seconds remaining, having Masallanes for Culver being probably the best player on the team taking a break. I think he might re-enter, but LaVille is going to try to attack him any way they can, being very upset, I believe, after that disrespectful foul. Any score updates around the local area?
Several from northern Indiana. These are all boys varsity scores. South Bend Adams is at South Bend St. Joseph. Adams leads St. Joseph 34-30 at the half. Riley leads Washington 42-30 in the third quarter. Elkhart Central leads Clay 36-27 at halftime. Elsewhere, Mishawaka at New Prairie has been postponed, no doubt due to the weather in New Carlisle, Indiana. Marion versus Jimtown is Marion leads 17-7. And the second quarter, that no doubt has been updated. It is another timeout on the floor, this time taken by Culver, a full timeout.
LaVille using an excellent trap there with Aish, and I believe Stanky was the other player there, calling a timeout to maintain possession.
Coach Galloway didn't like what he saw and didn't like getting trapped out, so it will be a full timeout for the Eagles. They have 2 timeouts remaining, as do the Lancers. Eagles also have the lead, 51-43 is the score. 1 minute, 59 seconds left. Elsewhere, and I'm looking at the score list, see what else we have around the area. Penn leads Bremen 59-20 in the fourth quarter. Hamilton leads Smith Academy 40-34 in the fourth quarter. Fort Wayne Leo is leading Angola at the half 25-16. Fairfield is beating Bethany Christian 47-29 in the fourth quarter. And Northwood is all over West Noble 61-33 in the third quarter.
Thank you for those score updates. Very interesting, to say the least, hearing about other games. LaVille has been playing excellent defense the last probably 5 minutes, to say the least.
Alongside my color man, Dennis Feitz, our statisticians for tonight, Ethan Sandoval and Mandy Ross. I'm Matthew Florian, watching what was almost some back and forth. Jason Breeden gets a 2-point layup. Wild back and forth. The Lancers and a charge taken. Isaac Gage squares up against Ethan Britton Watts.
I like the call, but I don't know if I can agree with it. That was an iffy call, to say anything.
See, I actually talked to Coach Edison and Coach Corey Duncan, the fine head coach of the women's basketball team here at LaVille. Just for clarification, as that was Britton Watts' 4th foul, he stays in the game with 1 minute 30 seconds left. I'll explain that rules clarification in just a moment. Stanky with control. Aish, here's a 3-point attempt. Short, collected by Masallanes, and that will be to Clark, picking up a foul.
His 3rd.
Masallanes will go to the line. What I was getting to with that was that Coach Edison and Coach Duncan said, contrary to popular belief, it's not just planted feet. If you square up to a player, you can have a foot moving. If you square up and they run straight into you and they don't make an effort to go around you, then it is still a charge. So that helps perhaps explain a little bit about that.
Even with that explanation, which is excellent to say the least, I'd still have to believe before he turned that Aish was possibly moving, to say anything. You could watch the video again and see what you believe, but it was close to say anything.
Masallanes, absolutely exemplary all over the court, including at the free throw line. He has the Culver lead back to 8. Stanky, 3-point shot. Make it 5-point lead for Culver. Masallanes well defended, a foul committed.
Good. He knew he had a foul. And
Jacob Good had a foul to give. But that is it. It's double bonus time for both teams. 1:03 left. And I'd argue you don't want to send Ignas Masalinas to the line for the Eagles.
He's 3 for 3 from the line on the night. But I don't believe they're going to pass it to anyone who can't go and be successful from the free throw line to say anything. I mean, the worst free throw shooter we've seen from them is Jamaro Rule, who's went 0 for 3 from the free throw line, and the only other player besides Ignasis to shoot is Allen, who has made 1 for 2. So he really hasn't been tested.
DeClark into the game for the Lancers. Under a minute left. Deficit is 7. Foul committed.
Against the
offensive foul committed by Stanky. Edison looking for an explanation.
No, that's Breeden's 5th.
Breeden will be, he is done. Coach Edison still looking for an explanation. Jason Breeden will be done for the night.
I didn't see the play on the floor, but
well, now he's back on the floor. Now a little bit of discussion. I guess the officials were not aware that he had 5 fouls.
Very interesting turn of events to say anything there.
Coach Mark Galloway having a quick huddle up with his team. They lead 55-48, 54.6 seconds left. Riley Cox will come in for the Lancers.
LaVille going to be very aggressive here, still trailing by 7, having a chance to get in this game, but having to be very
Isaac
tough.
Aish committing that foul. He will send Masalinas to the line.
Aisha's first foul, but if you're on the floor right now, do you foul a player other than Ignacianis or Malasianis before the inbound, trying to get somebody who's weaker at the free throw line to shoot free throws?
I'm not entirely sure how the rules work with giving fouls before the ball is inbounded. I would wait and try and get as good a look as I could, because the point is not just to foul a poor free throw shooter. The point is to get the ball and get turnovers. Ian Anderson will send Jamario Rule to the bench. 52.6 seconds left. 57-48 lead for, and a foul.
Young's 4th foul there goes just running over.
The Lancer faithful wanted a flagrant assist.
This game is being very physical both ways, to say the least.
Aish to the line to try and cut into the Eagle lead. Coming up to the scorer's bench to check back in for the Eagles, number 21, Sam Kincannon, and number 13, Britton Watts. They will send Jake Young and Ian Anderson to the bench for the Eagles. 50 seconds left in the game. Deliberately misses it. Can't get the rebound. And foul committed.
Good idea there by Aish. Probably planned, but just could not gather the ball.
Number 23, Jacob Good.
That's a hit or miss kind of opportunity. If you can get the rebound, it works well. If you can't get the rebound, you might as well just get the extra point. The deficit remains 8 for the Lancers. Under 46 seconds left. First shot for Britton Watts, up and good. 9-point lead for the Eagles. Second shot on the way. And off the mark. Isaac Aish gets it to Stanky. 44 seconds and counting. Lancers need big points fast. DeClark for 3. Off the mark. Rebound collected and fouled. And a little bit of a late elbow thrown in there by Ethan Britton Watts.
I think he was just telling Good to get off of him. Good did hold him for a while, trying to make sure that he had the foul called against him with some players in foul trouble.
Ethan Britton Watts to the line for Culver, shooting 2.
2 shots on the way. Britton Watts, first shot up and good. It's a 10-point deficit in a second half that really has been dominated right from the opening horn, from the first buzzer by the Eagles of Culver Military. Sub in now. Ian Anderson will check in, send Ethan Britton Watts to the bench. And that's the last 36 seconds left of the game. Adam Stanky, 3-point shot coming underneath, blocked, gets it to, can't get it to fall. Masalinas will take the ball the other way for a 2-point shot.
Number 12, Justin.
That'll be Justin DeClark. Tried a couple of different layup looks there, couldn't get any of them to fall. Masalinas, his first miss of the night.
He has shot very well from the line tonight. Eight for
24
9.
seconds left, 12-point lead. Isaac Aish, 2-point shot off the mark. Riley Cox, excellent pursuit on that ball. Timeout called by Mark Galloway. He wants to have a final word with his Eagles. 14.6 seconds left in the game. Well, it's the same thing I talked about in the pregame show. Coach Edison mentioned rebounds and second chance shooting was going to be important, and that has been absolutely dominated by the Eagles. They've been a second half team throughout this entire year. First half points average around 20 to 22 as we saw today, but they come alive in the second half, averaging 33 points. And they've just put on a clinic.
Yes, they have.
In this second half. Athleticism and speed has been the name of the game for the Eagles.
39 points in the second half for the Culver Eagles. And LaVille's only scored 21, showing the dominance by far. LaVille had this game tied up at halftime at 22. Remind you folks.
27 is the that they've put on the board.
27 at halftime?
No, sorry. They had 22 at halftime. They have scored 27 points. Stolen away,
apology.
And that'll do it. Masalinas with control, nearly kicked away. Aish now playing for pride, can't get it to fall, and with 4 seconds left, Clark will not go after the foul.
Final score, Culver Military.
Final score here from Dale Cox Gymnasium. Culver Military beats the LaVille Lancers 61-49. We'll have some final stats courtesy of Ethan Sandoval as well as Mandy Ross, who have done a fantastic job for us tonight. Dennis?
Just counting up the turnovers right now. 30 for LaVille and 28 for Culver at the end of the game. Very sloppy game. Points for both teams. We'll start with our losing LaVille Lancers. Jacob Good and Dalton Dubb both had 2 points. Justin DeClark had 3 points. Isaac Aish had 6 points. Jason Breeden had 13 points. And Adam Stanky was a real team leader in this game. Scored 23 points. 10 from 12 from the free throw line, being excellent. Just had troubles rebounding, and Culver was just dominant in the second half. And for Culver, you have Young and Powell both having 2 points. Jamario Rule with 6 points. Addison Allen with 7. Sam Concanon with 9. Ethan Britton Watts with 11. And Ignas Masalonis with 24 points, but he did have that technical foul. Just very unsportsmanlike, to say the least. A very good game played by Culver, though. to say anything about the Eagles. Any final thoughts?
It's a tough second to last, I believe, home game for the Lancers, falling to a Culver team that has been all over the state of Indiana and Ohio this year. They've got a lot of talent. As Coach Edison said, Masalaitis, one of the best players that LaVille will face all season, really putting on a clinic here at Dale Cox Gymnasium in the second half. Folks, we hope you will join us on the 19th of February, which will be against Caston. We have a doubleheader that night, men's doubleheader, starting at 6 p.m. when the JV team takes on Caston. Here at Dale Cox Gymnasium, the Lancers will face the Comets starting at 6 o'clock. The varsity game will start around 7:30. We hope to see you here on the LVH1. We had a pretty good crew working for us tonight, Dennis. Ethan Sandoval was here on stats with Mandy Ross. They did a fine job as always. Dennis Fights, my incomparable color man, does a fantastic job night after night after night after night. Very pleased to have him with us on the headset, an alumni of LaVille. He's got to be pleased with how the season is going, ups and downs, but definitely some talent and some pride on this Lancer team.
Yes, very promising. Just had a rough night tonight. Should do very well against Triton in the next game on Friday at Triton. I hope to try to go to that one.
That'll be an interesting game. The Lancers look to avenge the Bi-County Tournament championship game loss to the Trojans earlier this year at Triton. That game will be this week. That'll be on the 12th of February, just a few days away. We hope you'll join us here once again from Dale Cox Gymnasium on the 19th. The Lancers will face the Comets. The JV game will be streamed starting at 6 p.m. The varsity game will tip off at 7:30. We hope to see you there. Until then, on behalf of our principal at LaVille, Mr. Nate McCann, our athletic director, Coach Will Hostrauser, and the men's varsity head coach, Mr. Michael Edison, and alongside my LVH1 crew, Ethan Sandoval, Mandy Ross, and Dennis Fights, my name is Matthew Florian. Until next time, from Dale Cox Gymnasium, have a safe evening. Be safe on the roads, especially in the next few days with the snow coming back. Until next time, folks, go Lancers!